Welcome, 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 welcome to. We have an unusual and unique podcast today, and I am your host, Althea Finch from PainFree, from the PainFree Method. How to be pain-free by tuning into you. I'm going to explain a little bit what's all that and what are we doing today instead. Today we're doing a new sustainable approach to releasing weight, not weight loss or get rid of. Releasing weight and woohoo! And I'm going to start with myself, my own method, the pain-free method, and I'm going to explain how does that transfer to weight release for half an hour, and then I'm going to switch. We're going to switch to Sue, and here she's going to take over and teach you her method. But of course, with half an hour, we're doing an introduction here, and both of us have next steps to go from this call. So if it's whetting your appetite for pain release, um, come on to both our things. We've both got things going on next, and I'll send you all the links from this talk as well, so you can take your choices and take the next step. And I hope you're going to enjoy the little tantalizing taster we've got for you. So, I'll start, I guess. Right. So I'm your host, Althea, and I created the PainFree Method. And it's something that is, I specialize in long-term chronic pain and conditions, but it's an alignment method. When you're out of alignment, it's an alignment method. And I started to do research about, well, gosh, what else can it help with? And over the years, over the 25 years I've been teaching PainFree Method, I explored tinnitus, hard of hearing, hearing problems, phantom pains, anxiety, depression, all sorts of things, giving up alcohol, giving up smoking, because it's an alignment method. And last year I was going to do the weight loss, but I didn't have the balls to do it. And then Sue Ella, we got chatting, and she actually came on to our talking about her method, all about this. And I'll put the link to so you can see her full podcast. And I thought, come on, let's do it. Let's what do you call it? Connect and make a powerhouse of weight release today. So that's what we're doing today. And the pain-free method, it's an alignment method. So you might want to take notes or just listen in. And I'm going to explain to you the actions for weight release using the pain-free method, the alignment method that puts you into flow. And in flow are all things that you want. I also did a manifesting workshop and all sorts of things, but I put all these links in your email to you afterwards. So, ready for weight release, everybody? Da, da, da. It's all going to drop off us. Wonderful. Okay, so with the pain-free method, there are three major stages of alignment, of experiencing what you want, attracting what you want. The first is connection. So connect to what you want. Connect to the thing you're having problems with, whether that's pain, insomnia, weight problems, whatever it is. Connect is the key of healing in my world. Connection is the key of healing. It's an out of alignment thing. So when you connect to your problem, you automatically come into flow. And that's where the release of it is. And as I said, I'm going to be offering a full workshop on this. It's going to be also free, following on from this little taster. So just kind of be open and listen in for now. Yeah, connect. The first stage is connect. That's where alignment is. And that's where you let go of what you don't want and start receiving, becoming, being what you do want. The next stage is support that to happen. Create the environment, like tilling the soil, making the soil lovely and soft for a seed so it has a big chance to grow. Create the environment. What do you do? How do you encourage what you want to happen? Let go of what you don't. That's step two. And then step three is releasing old patterns and triggers and maybe mindsets that we all have to blocks that you may be feeling of having and achieving and being what you want, weight release. What are the blocks? So step three is all about balance, creating the you, the you that you want to be, the body that you want, the emotional state, the mental state that you want. That's all step three. So that's the big picture of the pain-free method or the alignment method. But I've got little Kitty here, just crawling up my leg. She comes up for a cuddle. Sorry, I'll do it now because she'll come up all over it. She is such, if you want a kitten, everybody, she is the dearest little kitten. She is so sweet. She's such a poppet. So I'm going to show you the actions that actually begin that process, and that's all in step one. So you've got those overriding three steps there: connect, support, and balance. That's the whole system that I normally teach in a 90-day program. But I'm going to give you a free little workshop on the weight release one. But these are the four actions from step one, the four little actions that begin the weight loss process, release, weight release process. Uh, Sue's got me hot on that. Weight release. Thank you so much, Sue. Okay, so what are those? How to begin? Here are the four little actions that start the change that you want and the weight release that you want, or anything else, actually. So, the very first thing is to know where you are. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you are. If you're in a whirligig of I'm stressed and I feel fat and I feel disgusting or whatever it is, mindset and body state that you are, we're in a whirligig of that. So it's really, really important to be clear about, well, what are you? What are you feeling? What is your body state? What are you telling yourself? What are the words in your head? How are you speaking to yourself? Where was your mother like this? Are there any patterns? Is there any history here? So this is a really great time to get out a journal and journal out all the rubbish that you're feeling, all the thing you don't want. I feel fat, my legs are flabby, and I feel disgusting. I can't fit into my clothes, and I'm talking horrible things to myself. I'm denying myself food. You know the picture. If you're him, you know what that is. So this is a really great time to journal out, where are you now? The first action of the four of step one, the four little actions. Where are you now? And just pour it all out until you've poured everything out that you know is all about your weight issue. And when you've come to the end, you'll know it. It might be 5 pages. Let it be 5 pages. It's really important to get into all the details and all the rubbish that you're feeling. Everything, even the blocks, even if you don't know what those blocks are, just put, I feel a block to a weight release. If you know what it is, pour it out. Okay. So that's the first action. You're good with that? Pour out where you are now, the whole state of you. It's connection. It's part of step one, connection. Yeah, all the feelings, all the state, the physical, the emotional, the mental, any history, any doubts you might have. Okay, the second action of the four on step one, the second action is to feel where that is in you. Feel where it is. Where is it in you? So the first one is, what is it? What's going on? Where am I? What is it? How do I feel? And the second one is, well, where's all that happening in me? So if it's a physical thing, like I've got flabby legs, so it'll be your legs. It'll be obvious it's in your legs. If it's an emotion, maybe that's in your voice or in your head or your heart, maybe, or in your belly or something. So where is that emotion? Where is that thought in you? Where is that in you? You might find this second action that memory will pop up, or maybe your mother pops up. I know for me, my mum was permanently on diets, always on the F plan and the fiber plan and the other plan, Weight Watchers, all sorts of things. And she was permanently, and I got that message, as we do as children, we just soak it up, that I have to be thin. And I had this terror of being fat. I've got a darling friend who is enormous. She's my darling friend, but I was always terrified of being like her. And now that I've had I spent my 30s, for 10, 12 years. I was a dancer, and I was very lean, no fat on me, and people were constantly calling me, didn't realize I was the age that I was. And I was looking around at my contemporaries, my same age people, women, and I could see they were fattier and what more wobbly. And I felt pretty cool. I thought I'm fit and lean. But then I had children. Had my darling babies, and it's about 15 years on. I know I'm about 3 or 4 sizes bigger. I used to be like, I don't know, about size 9, 10 or something. Very fit. And but now I'm a mother. My life is very different. I sit behind a computer a lot of the time. And I'm not physically moving a fraction of what I used to. I used to ride a bike every day and, up to work, do massages and all the rest of it. So now my life is very different and I have a different weight. I'm not nearly as fit and I've got, all my gremlins now and I'm about 3 sizes bigger or something. I'm about, I think I'm, last I know on dress size is 18 or something, which is like, I would die. I remember being 11, size 11, is that 11? 11 stone years ago when I was younger, and I nearly died then, but now I don't look at the scale. And I'm just, horrible thoughts and horrible feelings. Look at the mirror, and I think this, disgusting, and but that really has a knock-on effect. So I'm doing this with you, listening to my own preaching, and I'm going to listen to Sue, of course. Sometimes we just need someone outside, don't we? We need helping hand, a mirror at us, and encouragement. And that's why I didn't do it last year. Wasn't brave enough. But Sue encouraged. I felt encouragement from Sue. So we're doing it together. And your thoughts and feelings, your body reflects you. Your body reflects you, and the choices you make, and the direction you take. Your thoughts and your emotions, your body reflects all of that. So the second part is, well, where are you feeling all that in you? And if memories pop up, well, where's that memory in you? If mum or whatever pops up and when you're a little girl or whatever your memories pop up, where are those memories in you? Or how do you feel about those memories or those people in your life? Where is that feeling in you? Okay. And as I said, come to the workshop to get into detail. I'm gonna talk and walk you through this. Um, if you come to the fuller workshop on this, I'll take you through the ABC of it. So the second action is, or where are you feeling that in you? Where in you? Where in your life have you felt that before? That same emotion, same thoughts, same experience, same self-hate. Where is that in you? Have you ever felt that in your life before? Where is that in you? What is it? Where is it? What is it? Where is it? Okay. So of course, this is just a little sampler today. The third act, are you okay with that one? So where is it in you? Yeah. So the third action of the four is okay, so now you create the environment for change. And this is kind of a piece of that second step in the main method. Create the environment. And the easiest way to do that is to soften and breathe. Yes, you feel these things. Okay, soften and breathe. Okay, you feel disgusting or fat or whatever you say. Okay, but soften and breathe. And when you soften and breathe like this, and you really get into your body, you can feel your breath going in and out. Can you scan around your body and feel any tensions or negativity or tightness and let that bit of you soften? What you're doing is a very powerful, all-encompassing, but very, very simple way to create the environment and change that you want. So when you're softening and breathing, it triggers good feeling endorphins to your whole system. It triggers the system to have a feel good effect. And your brain says, oh, needs being met, oxygen coming in, relaxation happening. So your brain will then send good feeling endorphins and trigger it back at your system. And that will go into your emotions, back into your thought, back into your physical body. So when you're feeling horrible, you're going to connect to that horrible thing. Where are you feeling horrible in you? Soften and breathe. You feel horrible again. Okay, go back to the horrible. Connect to the horrible in you and feeling wobbly and fat or whatever you say. Where are you feeling it? Really important to bring it into you. Otherwise, it stays creating the story and your body will reflect how you feel. So it's really important to connect. Where is that in you? Where are you feeling these negative thoughts? Bring in the softening and breathing. Easy win. Begins your process immediately. Begins the process of change immediately. Breathe all the way in and out. Soften your body. Close your eyes and get. This is something to practice every day. no matter what. First thing in the morning, soften and breathe. First thing in the morning, do a body scan, connect to your body. Do a bit of this is self Reiki, do a bit of self Reiki. Look it up, look self Reiki up. Connection to you. Where are you now? Where are you feeling it? Soften and breathe creates the change and the environment. There are lots of other things to do, and I'll show you in this workshop if you come into it. But begin with softening and breathing. Now, I've recently understood and learned that breathing is your connection to spirit. It's your connection to the other side, beyond the veil. You got that too, Sue. I feel the shivers. I just learned that recently. Well, recently I met God, as you do. I thought I'd just put it out there. Do you know what? Every time I mention this, I see the reaction. Not you guys, I didn't see that this time, but every time I mention God, I feel this recoil in people, or like a thing comes down. I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to say it anyway. you know there it is. I met God recently, and I just, and through that experience, I realized breath is our connection, is our doorway between the physical state we experience in this physical world, but it's a doorway to the spirit world, which is right here. It's not over there somewhere. It's not when you go to sleep. It's not up in heaven. It's here. It's just that we're living a physical experience, and we don't physically see it typically. Some people can see it all the time, like psychics and whatever, but typically we don't, because we wouldn't be able to live our physical life, I think. But breath is your connection to this, to the spirit world. So that means you're inviting lots of support and love and help and encouragement and guidance. So breath does so much, and it connects you to all things as well: your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, all your past, all your experiences. Just breathing deep and slow. Just breathing deep and slow. So powerful and yet so simple. So the third action is breathing deep and slow. Okay, I know I've got just 7 minutes to get it all out. Okay, so the fourth action is, okay, so you feel fat and rubbish, whatever you say, but what do you want instead? You feel those things, you're experiencing these horrible things. What do you want instead? Write that down. Write that down. I want to feel lithe and lovely. I want to feel fit. I want to feel good about my body. I want to be able to fit into any clothes I want. I want to go shopping and think, oh, I'll wear that because it fits me. Whatever you say, what do you want? Maybe that's me talking, but what do you want? What do you want? How do you want to feel? And get into details. What do you want to feel? What thoughts do you want to have going through your mind? Catch yourself in the reflection. Oh, like lovely. Gosh, I feel superstar today. And what thoughts do you want to have going through your head? What emotions do you want to feel? I'm so happy. I'm so relieved. I've got such a lovely body. I'm so grateful for my body. I feel good in it. What do you want emotionally? What do you want physically? I want to be size 9, please. And even if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. Go for gold. Go for gold. And in the PainFree Method, I always ask people when they begin with me, what do you want? And many, many times people say, Althea, I want to be 70% better. If I was 10% better, that would be a great improvement. Well, if you say, I want to be lighter or a bit better, then that's what you will receive. That's what the universe will give you. So go for gold, even if you think it's never going to happen, it's impossible, it's never going to happen. Go for gold, and always go for gold. Every time you feel rubbish, yes, I feel rubbish and fat and lumpy, whatever you say today, but I want to be size 9. I want to feel really lovely in myself. I want to love my body and fit into all my clothes. Every single time you feel the rubbish, immediately add what you want anyway. Immediately. Okay, so these are the 4 little actions, and any questions, pop them in the chat box, and then at the end we're going to open up to all questions, unmute later on. But for now, pop the questions in the chat box if you have any. So what are the four actions? The whole process of pain to pain free, or weight to releasing weight. And if you've got a big old problem and it's a long-term condition, or you've got a lot of story in there, I encourage you to come into the 90-day program. But talk to me later about this. I'm going to send you the free consultation link. But the four actions will get you started. Okay, can you feel how simple and powerful they are? They're just so simple, right? So what are the four little actions in step one? Connect to how you're feeling. All the rubbish and all the warts and all the thoughts and all the emotions, all the physical states. Write it out, journal it out in a journal. The second action is, well, where are you feeling that in you? So if it's physical, it's going to be obvious. It's in your physical, it's in your belly, it's in your arms, or whatever you say. If it's an emotion, well, where do you feel that emotion in you? If it's a thought, where are those thoughts in you? Where do you feel that? And a story might come up, or a memory. Okay, well, how does that feel? How did that memory feel? How did you feel about that person or those thoughts? Where are those thoughts in you? So what is it? Where is it? What is it? Where is it? And then the third action is create the environment for change. Soften and breathe. Even if you are feeling rubbish, soften and breathe. And the fourth action is say what you want instead. You do feel rubbish, okay, but I want to feel good. Immediately say how you want, what do you want, how do you want to feel? So you're going to practice these four little actions, and you're going to bounce around back and forth as needed. Every time you catch yourself in the mirror and you say a horrible thing, catch yourself immediately. Oh, where's that thought in me? Have I ever felt that thought before? Soften and breathe. What thoughts do I want instead? Where are those in me? So you're going to switch those four little actions to the good stuff. The moment you say what you want, I want to be feeling great and lovely and comfortable in my body. Where are those thoughts in you? And then you become a magnet for them. Like attracts like. That's the law of nature. It has to happen. Your body has to reflect this. The world has to reflect this back at you. I want to be comfortable in my body. Where's that thought or feeling? I feel it. I feel it here. So connect to this area often. When you feel things within your body, you become a magnet to them. Like attracts like. It's not enough just saying what you want. I want to feel good in my body. That's just a thought, which is the first stage. But bring that thought within you. Where's that thought in me? I feel it in my head. Okay, connect to your head. Connect to that place often. Say what you want often. Okay, so after this, I'm going to send you my contact, the next step contacts, and so is Sue. And Sue's got some brilliant things coming up you're going to hear. If this is enough for you, fantastic. If you have any questions, let me know, or come on to the fuller workshop where I'm going to be talking you through it. I'm going to be doing that in a couple of days. I'll be sending the link so you can book onto that. And I've come to the end of my half an hour, so I haven't seen any questions. So if you have any questions, write them down and bring them into the Q&A after we finish. So, Sue, all yours.
Thanks, Althea. That was lovely. So much overlap, so much alignment with some of the methods that I use on my program. It's lovely to see the more spiritual, more connected side of what I do. So thank you so much for that. Would you mind making me a co-host so that I can? Oh, I think you might have just done that. Could you make me a co-host so that I can share? Lovely, thank you. Now let me I also want to spotlight myself. Could you spotlight me so that my recording will record me and my slides rather than our audience?
That's a new one on me. Where's the spotlighting?
So if you just right click on my picture,
Oh yeah, hang on.
you should
Got
be
it,
able to find
yes. Load.
spotlight.
Well, Sue, I need to chat with you.
We need to have a little lesson. What that does
Get
is
me
it means that in the recording, it'll be me and my slides rather than our audience's faces.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm right clicking on the dots on your face,
yeah,
and it says spotlight for everyone.
yeah, that's the one.
Ah, so good.
There we are. Thank you ever so much.
No worries. I'll
So,
go off again.
oh, welcome everybody, and thank you so much, Althea, for having me on. We're very aligned. I coach a completely different approach to weight loss, but not for trying to lose weight. Release is the word that we're using, and I just wanted to explain why we use this word release rather than lose and weight loss. It's very easy to say weight loss. It's not so easy to say really weight release. But the reason we use the word release where we can is if you think about something in captivity like a dove, and you're releasing it to the sky, you know, it's gone forever. We're releasing it to be with free will, we're releasing something for good. Whereas if you lose something, like your keys, for example, if you lose your keys, what do you like? Got to get the keys, got to get the keys. You're obsessed over getting the thing that you've lost back. So the word release is a much more aligned way of describing what it is we're trying to achieve. And so many of the things that you've talked about, Althea, resonate for me as well. And the first one that you talked about is this journaling on where are you? It's the same with me and my clients. With this idea that we've got to reflect on where we are and what it is we want. It's the exercise that I call my big why. So it's the same as you get people to journal, but I ask them to say, well, why is it you want that? And if I could achieve that, why is it you want? Why is it you want that? What would that do for you? It's an exercise called the 5 whys. So once you've come up with your what is it you want, ask yourself why, and then go to the next level. What would that do for you? If you could achieve that, what would that do for you? And how would your life change if you could achieve that? What would it allow you to do? How would you feel? How would you feel in your body? And then when you get to that answer, and what would that do for you? And what you do is when you get through to the sort of like fifth level, it should connect you with something that feels really empowering, it's really motivating. So that's why this journaling, this conscious work that Althea has been describing is so important, because it connects you to your true motivation, your true desires, rather than staying up in our heads in should world. Letting go of that judgmental language that Althea has been talking about, the judgmental language, the negative thoughts, and connecting with a new kind of positive that is all about your deeper reason for wanting to change. So that is really me just highlighting where we overlap, and the breathing is a huge part of this. It's all about consciousness, and a conscious breathing exercise can really help us to connect with our physical. It's about getting out of busy mindset, judgmental, the things we say when we talk to ourselves, and connecting with our bodies. How do we feel? How do we want to feel? What would it feel like if we could do that, if we could achieve that? So let me share just a few slides with you, so that just by way of introduction, really, into what it is that I do. Can everybody see my slides? Yeah, great. So in the room, it's lovely to have a live audience. So thanks to those who are joining. And for those on replay, hopefully you'll be able to see me and my slides. So this is me. I'm Sue Ella. I'm now 54, a couple of teenagers, one's in uni. I live in Cardiff, and I've always loved life. My passion is to live the maximum life that I can live, get the most out of life. It's always been my passion. I love freedom. I love fun, friends, food, adventure, travel. And, you know, I've had a bit of a different career before I became a health transformation and food relationship coach. But old career as a medical physicist and Cardiff University IT manager ended when I transformed my life in 2020. I was just looking for weight loss, And what I found was a new way of eating, a new relationship with food, natural food that I'd never discovered before. And it eased my joint pain and stiffness. It gave me incredible energy as well as weight release. And I just couldn't keep this a secret. So I then went on to learn to be a coach. And I'm now one of 10 master coaches certified to teach the method that I'm going to very, very briefly share with you. And in the last 5 years, I've guided 300 people through this incredible health transformation program. Very, very different from dieting. So this was me. My old relationship with food was a lot of celebrating, a lot of meals out, a lot of fun, drinking, parties, cakes, being a mum, but it did take its toll. It didn't just take its toll in my weight. That was always a battle from the time I was a teenager. My weight was always a battle. But the food, the what I was eating, not how much I was eating, is important here. What I was eating was causing me not just the ruthless weight gain, but stiffness, achy joints, pain, repetitive strain, acid reflux, digestive issues, a lot of gas. And I didn't know then, but the way I was eating, the foods I was eating were causing me to overeat on things like sugar and carbs and alcohol cravings. And what I didn't know back then was not, as well as the stiff and achy joints, I was also heading for type 2 diabetes. I now know that because I know the warning signs. If you're interested in finding out what the warning signs are, feel free to ask me in the questions, but I now know, looking back, that I was getting warning signs of type 2 diabetes. When I learned how to eat the way humans were designed to eat, rather than trying to eat to diet, trying to eat for calorie control, restriction, low fat, all that nonsense. When I learned to eat the way we're meant to be eating, with all the healthy proteins and fats and nature's way, vegetables and fruit and meat, fish, eggs, nuts and seeds, and, nature's way, I released a couple of dress sizes in weight. It was 20 pounds, and that was life-changing for me. But also what I hadn't expected was my fatigue, joint pain and stiffness went. And I put behind me a lifetime of 35 years of dieting and feeling like a failure, in favor of this new way of eating. So maximum energy now, body confidence is back, and I've finally ditched the diet forever. And what does this mean? What did I learn from this? It's not about dieting. The answer is in nature. And as Althea was talking about, it's in conscious awareness of ourselves, our bodies, our mood, our mindset, the whole thing, getting back in touch with ourselves and with nature. So I discovered the way of eating that the human body was designed to thrive. And it explained to me why I was craving sweet things, why I was so dependent on indulgence. It explained to me that weight loss didn't have to be something that you check in every week. How much weight have you lost? But that it can be a natural side effect of learning to eat in a much more supportive way. And that mainstream healthy eating is not it. Who out of those listening, those in the room, those listening on replay, who has tried everything, all the healthy eating advice, and it's not working? And we're still fatigued, and we're still gaining weight, and we're still stiff and achy, and we're still getting skin flare-ups and digestive issues and chronic ailments. The mainstream picture of healthy eating is closely linked with food marketing and also, big pharmaceutical companies. The answer is in nature, my darlings. And not just me, but 300 people that I've coached through the program, but also nearly 1 million people who've done the program that I coach worldwide. The answer is in nature, not in dieting. And let me just paint a picture for you of the way we're being fed in this modern world. I mean, picture our ancestors, hunter-gatherer, and what would have been available on the planet, the vegetables, the fruit, meat, fish, eggs, nuts and seeds and spices and herbs and all the wonderful things that we know are good for us, natural whole foods. But look at the way we're being fed. You know, we're being fed by supermarket aisles and fast food outlets and convenience and things out of a packet, and even things that are designed to so-called be healthy for us, but they're still out of a packet. And when we are so dependent on eating that way, as most of us are in this world, that's what causes the weight gain. It's not a character defect. It's the way we're being fed. And most of us, you know, a lot of us can say, well, we're eating really well, but actually there's so much dependence on convenience, not to mention emotional eating. So on my next slide, I talk about the 6 human hungers. You know, nutritional hunger is just one of the human hungers. One of the things that often gets overlooked with programs like diets is emotional hunger. Yeah. So how many of us actually eat every single time we put something in our mouths is for nutritional reasons? Yeah, nobody's like that. Yeah, there are always emotional reasons for eating. There are convenience reasons for eating. And it's in our modern food world that we turn to things like chocolate, cake, alcohol when we're not feeling great or when we're trying to celebrate, like I was, because the modern world has got us thinking that that's what celebration looks like. That's what comfort looks like. It's the food industry that's doing that to us. Whereas if we go back to nature, we can learn how to address those the emotional hunger is it's so important. And Althea, a lot of what you were saying was resonating for me as calming the emotional hunger, getting back in touch with the need in our body. So one of the things that I coach on my 90-day program is addressing emotional hunger at the root. But let's have a look at some of the other hungers. This is in a nutshell, because 6 human hungers is a big 1-hour lesson on its own. But there's also thirst is an important one. Are we all taking the time to hydrate properly and drink plenty of water? Thirst is the #1 hunger that causes us to overeat, and particularly on the sweet stuff. Next time you're craving sweet stuff, ask yourself, am I thirsty? Have a glass of water and see if the sweet craving goes, because it's a huge one, thirst hunger. And the next hunger, that I'm not going to go through them all, but the one that is really particularly relevant, given in light of everything I've said about the food industry, is low blood sugar hunger. Low blood sugar hunger is what happens to most of us when we get this hangry kind of, oh, I just got to eat now, or we're absolutely exhausted and we're just grabbing the first thing, or we're eating for convenience because there's nothing else. That's all low blood sugar hunger. And we think we've got to eat because we're so desperate for food. That is not natural hunger the way it's intended. That's not the sign of nutritional hunger. Real, genuine nutritional hunger is subtle. It's gentle. It gives you time. If you can deal with, and this is exactly what I get my clients doing, eliminate thirst, eliminate low blood sugar hunger by getting properly nourished, eliminate emotional hunger as best we possibly can, or certainly become more aware of it, and don't feed it with chocolate. Learn how to feed it with more nourishing activities. But when you're left with genuine nutritional hunger, the body knows what it needs. It knows it needs protein. It knows it needs fats. It knows it needs vegetables. It knows so you get the feedback from the body, but it's not desperate. It's like, I'm going to need to eat at some point later. So let's think about what there is. Let's start prepping some food now. It's not desperate. So when you've experienced this, and you've experienced this, how it feels when you've got all the nutritional and emotional and thirst and low blood sugar hungers dealt with, then you can be free to experience optimal health. So the program that I coach, I'll just mention it briefly. It's a 90-day program where we make one change per week. It's not about trying to lose weight. It's about getting these 6 hungers properly nourished one at a time. And that's where success lies. Once you're pretty much there, which takes a few weeks, sort of about 5 weeks on my program, you're nutritionally complete, your blood sugars are stable, and hugely important for all this is the gut microbiome. We've all heard of it now. We know it's important when we're properly nourished with all the natural foods and we've taken a break because we don't need them anymore of all the manufactured foods, so-called foods, the gut gets happier. You get a healthier, more vibrant, more nourished gut microbiome. And what are the effects of being in this optimal state, which can happen very, very quickly? The top thing that happens is energy improves. But surprisingly, other things can improve, like mental focus and clarity. Some of the symptoms of perimenopause and postmenopause, brain fog. Yeah, a lot of us report, oh, brain fog and just can't think clearly, can't focus, mood swings. Well, all those dramatically improve when you get the nutrition, the blood sugar, and the microbiome under control. Energy improves, your focus, your clarity of thought, mood and motivation. And so can you see how when these things improve, it becomes much easier to release weight? The desire for healthy eating improves. So rather than having cravings for convenience, what you notice is, oh, I'm really starting to want the healthier foods. And with the consciousness piece that Althea was talking about, the breathing exercise, your big why, you now start to want the healthier food. What goes down? Oh, and a few other benefits. Your sleep improves, fitness and muscle as a natural side effect of eating better. Bear with me, I didn't turn notifications off. Sorry about that. Let's just silence that. I did have Do Not Disturb on. For some reason it's come through anyway. And what is the natural side effects that disappear, that reduce, that release? Well, number one is body fat, because the body, when it's feeling in this optimal health state, the way we evolved to eat as human beings, doesn't want to hold on to a lot of excess weight. It wants a little bit of protective fleshy weight for those of us who are predisposed, like me. It wants a little bit under the skin, but it doesn't want the visceral fat, the organ fat. So that releases. Energy improves, so afternoon slump disappears. So almost all of my clients will say to you that after all this, sorry, she's really persistent, this phone call, and I'm on Do Not Disturb. I do apologize. Let me just make sure that I am on Do Not Disturb. Yeah, I am. It's just coming through anyway. Afternoon slump is a thing of the past. Cravings and desire for junk food, non-existent anymore. Every now and again, there's a little bit of emotional hunger, but it's something that we can deal with. So sorry, Althea. I don't know why this is ringing all the time and I can't seem to stop it, even though I'm on Do Not Disturb. I think I may have to just turn my phone off. I can see who it is. It's not urgent. So let me continue. Sorry about that. Inflammation. So who experiences chronic inflammation in the body? Puffiness, puffy face, puffy feet. If you sometimes can't see your ankle bones, tight wedding rings, those kinds of things. Headaches and migraines. And of course, that risk of chronic disease like type 2 diabetes is one of the things that we can absolutely reverse is type 2 diabetes. But our risk of all the chronic diseases goes down. So many of the chronic ailments that we now understand are so closely linked to the gut microbiome, stable blood sugars, and proper nutritional nourishment, meeting all the nutritional requirements. Weight release. I haven't once talked about a calorie or cutting anything out or deprivation or restriction or giving anything up. What I've talked about is increase in nutrition. Does that resonate? Is that clear? This is much more about putting more of the good stuff in than it is trying to deprive yourself, because going hungry will always backfire. If we try and go hungry, it's going to, I'm just going to go back a slide actually. If we try and go hungry, it always backfires, okay? Diets fail because they leave you feeling deprived. They make you go hungry. You're supposed to have willpower of steel. I got no willpower. Can I tell you why? Not because it's a character defect, but because I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel. You tell me how to eat and I'll go, no way. But you tell me how I'm going to feel when I'm eating in a really supportive way. That's what motivates me. And I won't believe it until I've tried it. So once you've tried it and you change one thing on 1 week and you feel better, that's motivating. And there's no rebellion. But if I went along to Slimming World like I did for 15 years, and I was told this is how you've got to eat, I'd be looking at it going, I'm not eating that. That's rubbish. I'm not doing this tastes like rubbish. I didn't want any of that low fat, low taste rubbish. I just wanted good quality food. And I didn't feel like I was getting it from there. Some people will go on something like Slimming World or Weight Watchers, and they will improve the way they're eating because it's compared to what they were eating, it's better. So I'm not knocking it. But for me, it didn't do that. It taught me to cheat. It actually taught me to cheat. What I couldn't cope with, the constant measuring and tracking, weighing, measuring, tracking, and the big changes all at once. On day one, right, here's how to eat. Off you go. Good luck. And it didn't work for me. It was miserable. I found it unsustainable. And one of the biggest problems was that it ignored that emotional hunger. That emotional, I really want something. I really want chocolate and a glass of wine. Well, it never asked me, well, why do you want that, my darling? Why is it you want the chocolate and the wine? What's going on for you? So what I do in the way I coach is I bring in two little characters, the short-term character, which is the blue pen, and the long-term healthy character. There's a short-term and a long-term in us all. Okay. I'm just going to stop sharing while I do a little bit on this dialogue. This inner dialogue work is very much like Althea was talking about the journaling. Okay, this is my version of that. We've all got a short-term side that wants the chocolate, wants the wine, wants the cake, wants to celebrate with food and have convenience, whatever it is for you. But the reason why you're here, the reason why you're listening to this, the reason why you're exploring is because we've also got that long-term desire to be healthy, release excess weight, and live a long and healthy life. We've all got the two sides and they're in conflict at the moment. So there's this battle. And for most of us that have a weight problem, this one's winning all the time. I want chocolate, I want cake, I want inconvenience, I want a meal out, I want a takeaway. And it's winning, 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 because this one's only present for a few moments a day. So one of the strategies that I coach is really empowering our healthy side to big why, know what it is we want, why it is we want that, what's that going to do for us. Everything we do here is strengthening this one's voice. We need to strengthen that voice whenever we possibly can. But there will be times, for me, it's after 7 o'clock of the evening. There will be times when this side wants the chocolate and the wine and the cake and convenience. And this one's nowhere to be seen. So what we need to do is listen to this side. And this one can be trained to become a coach. What is it, my darling? Why is it we're wanting chocolate this evening? Why is it we want just quick and easy? Well, I'm tired. Well, I understand that we're tired. Well, I've had a hard day. Well, yeah, we both had a hard day. And what we can do is we can play this dialogue out so they're starting to have a conversation. And if this one, very often what we get is this one's a bit judgmental. I got another color pen for that one. We got the judgy one. If you don't mind, the judgy bitch, I sometimes call her. And she's there going, what's the matter with you? You always want chocolate. You always want wine. Why can't you stick to a diet? You're not meant to be having that. Yeah, no, 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 no. How helpful is she? This judgy one, this bossy one. She's not helpful at all, my darlings. So a big part of this work is learning to say thank you, but releasing her. There she goes. Release her, over the shoulder she goes. We're going to train our healthy side to be a compassionate coach. Okay, so this is obviously work that I do with my clients over the course of 90 days, but it can happen very quickly. We focus on this in the first 2 weeks. So now she's a better coach. She can start to talk to this one with love and compassion and problem solving. Well, okay, so what if we have a nice hot bath, a nice glass of something to drink, glass of water just to tide us over? Oh, the sun is out. Should we go out for a walk? Well, let's do that. And then let's review the chocolate situation. This one's going to be feeling so much better that chocolate's not going to be on her mind. as much as it was before. And do you see how that we can build this into something where the pink voice becomes the boss? Not in a pushy way, but in a compassionate way. So that's about dialogue. That's about inner dialogue. It's a lot about the psychology. So I want to leave a couple of minutes for questions, but one of the important things to realize is that we will never solve our problems with more willpower, with trying to stick to something and following somebody else's rules. It absolutely has to be addressing the emotional side, the psychology of behavior change. Okay, so it doesn't come, it's not something that we can just fix on our own. This is why it's so important to have a coach, a program that does that for you. So if I just share very quickly the slides with you again. It's learning to eat in tune with our bodies, learning how that is one change at a time, not trying to give you all the changes at once. That's why it evolves over a number of weeks. Learning to nourish all 6 human hungers so that you don't crave, so that your appetite is managed without deprivation. Rewiring those eating behaviors for good so that you create yourself a lasting and stress-free relationship with food. Okay, so I'm not going to go on any further with my full slides because if anybody wants to see the full presentation, which includes the amazing success stories that I've witnessed over the last 5 years, and also how you can work with me, I'm doing a free series of masterclasses next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's called Ageless Vitality. Monday is all about the link between your symptoms and the way we're being fed. Tuesday focuses on natural and lasting weight release as a side effect of eating for optimal health. And then on Wednesday, we're going to focus on the psychology of behavior change and a lasting and peaceful relationship with food. So this is, like Althea said, this is just a taster of the kind of work that I do. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Oh, we'll share a link, won't we? And people can come along to that and do an hour each day, come to one or more so that you can go deep into these principles and start to learn how to make them work for you. Thanks so much, Althea. Shall we open the room for questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make it so that you can unmute everybody and just unmute when you finish talking, mute again. So if you have any questions, you want to share any experiences or ahas you got from either of our talks, of course, it's just a little introduction, isn't it? Yeah, you can. Everybody knows how to. So Lee said, "Thank you both. So interesting and helpful. You're welcome."
You're welcome, Lee.
Good, you want to go ahead?
Well, I would like some insight into how all the psychology will work with total hormonal disaster. I mean, I have no thyroid, so my hormones all over the place, and no matter what I do, I don't lose weight.
Yeah,
Again.
I completely understand that. And a lot of women come to me saying that. One of the other interesting things about making some small changes in the first few weeks is that you would be surprised how much the gut microbiome can heal itself very quickly when we start feeding it more of the good stuff. And when the gut microbiome, much of the hormones that we're talking about, the hormones of the thyroid hormones, but they're made in the thyroid, aren't they? But some of the mood hormones are made in the gut. The gut microbiome is so responsible for a lot of the hormones that we experience, and that controls our mood, our cravings, our appetite. It's so dependent on this healthy gut microbiome environment. So what we find is, and that's not trying to be a science lesson because I don't, that's not my specialty. But what I have seen is that improvements to the way we are eating, aligned with the way we're meant to be eating as humans, the way the body is expecting to be fed, make dramatic shifts in the gut, which make dramatic shifts in our hormone regulation. So even for people who have got no thyroid or all kinds of hormone dysregulation, PCOS, perimenopause, underactive thyroid, all these conditions I've seen improving dramatically as a result of the body just getting into better balance. So I think you'll be surprised, Grasnia, how effective it can be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, Gorazna. And yeah, so that's wonderful, isn't it? I mean, I remember I was treating in my world, it's pain conditions and things. And there was
Yeah.
this guy who came to me with full body arthritis and all his toes and his fingers had all curled up and everything. And he said that he changed his food, going on a purely food side of things, and things like he stopped the the nightshade plants like aubergine and tomatoes and things. Tomatoes was did it for him, and he was said it was.
Potatoes is one of the biggest culprits. White potatoes, one of the biggest culprits.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, I saw him on TV one day. He was doing an art class thing, and I thought, oh, I know him. And but when we were working together, he said to me he'd already come to the state of all his body. He got so bad he couldn't even get out the car, and that small change made an enormous difference. So food, Grazna, get onto
Yeah.
Sue's free thing, and
Yeah.
give it a go.
The nightshades is one of the things, and we don't even need to be specific. Oh, give up tomatoes. Oh, give up potatoes, because actually this is about learning everything that people have got an intolerance for. Humans weren't meant to eat. This is about looking at how humans are meant to eat. When it's not going back 5,000 years to a time of agriculture, it's about going back 100,000 years and looking at how the human body actually evolved to eat before we started farming. Yeah. So it's really interesting. We're not meant to eat white potatoes. We can make a simple swap. I'll give you that one for free, everybody. Swap white potatoes for sweet potatoes. Job done. That's one huge step you can take to improve chronic inflammation.
Funny, isn't it? Because I'm not a nutritionist. I've never been a foodie like that, but I would imagine that sweet potatoes, oh my gosh, it must have sugar in it. It's sweet. But
they're a much more natural food. It's mainstream healthy eating that makes us completely misunderstand food. And people worry about the sugar in fruit. Fruits, when we did evolve to eat fruit, perhaps not the big juicy fruit we see these days. It was much smaller and much less sweet. But nevertheless, there is a season for eating fruit. But we didn't evolve to eat fruit all year round. Fruit was meant to be when it was ripe and then it was gone for the rest of the year. So we're not meant to have a lot of sugar going through our bodies all the time. This is the blood sugar control that I was talking about. So one swap at a time, one compassionate swap at a time, we're going to get you to that place where we're eating the way our ancestors ate. And that doesn't look like foraging. For some people, it might. It looks like blenders and really good chopping boards and air fryers. And, we make it nice and easy. We create our own convenience. It's the ingredients we use that's important.
And do everybody listen to the podcast, the fuller podcast that Sue did the other day on my podcast, because she goes into I'm probably getting all the words wrong, but it was like an awakening of, oh yeah, of course. It was, I don't know what you call it, but I got it as seasonal eating.
It's
Not
seasonal.
just seasonal eating, but spring eating and autumn eating and winter eating.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually matter what month it is because we can hack this, right? So the basis of it is our bodies were designed to really thrive in spring, really thrive and come alive and release excess weight and have loads of energy and motivation. If it didn't, we wouldn't have evolved as a species. So I coach people how to eat in a spring-like way for a deep reset. That's the season where we see dramatic weight release. It's fat burning, it's sending ketones to the brain, we're thriving, we're highly motivated, and we're bouncing out of bed in the mornings. It's a wonderful food season, but it's the most restrictive of the seasons because it's quite low carb. But we but we also thrived to exist in a summer and an autumn and a winter. And each season has its benefits. And luckily for me and for us, we have a season that we call autumn, which is quite indulgent. It's quite sweet. And it's lovely. The human body designed to thrive on a little bit of sweetness every now and again. Lovely. But not all the time. And as a species, right now, we're living in a perpetual dirty autumn. We're gaining fat, we're flooding the body with sugars all the time. We're doing a lot of damage to our metabolic health, and we're getting this insulin resistance. And that was what I was talking about when I could see the symptoms in me. Looking back, skin tags, brown patches between the legs and under the arms. Some teenagers with insulin resistance will show, they call it dirty neck syndrome, brown patches. And skin tags is a very typical one. Hairless toes is another funny one. If you look at your toes and there's no hairs on your toes, it could be a signal that you've got insulin resistance. And there are a few other ones. Inflammation is another big one.
Look at my toes.
If you
That's
feel
really
if
funny,
you ever
isn't
get
it?
puffy, and most of us do, if you just I do the ring test every day. Every day, how tight are my wedding rings? And if I can slip my wedding rings on and off easily, then I know I've been eating well the day before. I did eat reasonably well the day before. I did have a little bit of white potato. That's the only little bit of white potato and a bit of dark chocolate. If I hadn't had that, those rings would be loose today. So that is my test of how well I've been eating yesterday.
So it's that immediate, like
Immediate
yesterday.
response.
That's great. I love that.
Immediate response. If I have a completely clean day today, so today I've had sardines and pink grapefruit so far, and I'm going to have some a lovely chili that I made, all natural ingredients, and that if I have a really clean day tomorrow those will be even looser. That's my measure of chronic inflammation in the body. You can also see it in puffiness in the eyes. A lot of people experience it in their ankles. Another good sign is stiffness in the hips. If you're stiff and achy, you're inflamed. And inflammation is a sign of insulin resistance, metabolic ill health, that kind of thing.
I can see how, when you first told me it's the 90 days, I thought, why do you need a 90-day thing to go through? What, just tell me how to do it and I'll get on with it. But I can see now that, we're full of gremlins. We've
Yeah,
got food patterns and history. We've got mindset. We've got emotions. How
absolutely.
you feel about yourself. You mentioned about the emotional and psychological side. And I can see how it's not just obviously a part of it is learning the seasonal food and what causes inflammation and really get it. It's not just this food causes inflammation. I mean, I've noticed, my arms like brown on. I thought I was just getting old.
The
I thought,
brown patches,
hang on a minute, what do you mean?
obviously I'm not medically trained. Your brown patches might be something different. I don't know. But one of the signs of insulin resistance is these brown patches appearing in the creases of the body and around the neck, because it's insulin is a growth hormone, and it's that growth hormone that is promoting a little bit of extra melanin in the skin. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research, but that could be a warning sign.
Oh, you've brought me to talk about my brown patches.
But yeah, it's
On
not
this
just
podcast, honestly.
like you said, anybody can go away and read what is an anti-inflammatory diet, and mainstream, it'll be reasonably good. It won't be quite as good as the ancestral approach that I coach, but it's a really good start. But the thing is, you look at it and you go, oh my God, how am I going to do that? Because you've got all the things you mentioned, Althea: habits, emotions, self-sabotage, friends, coffee shops, supermarkets, convenience store. It's just well, I teach you how to deal with all that and still love eating in a completely clean anti-inflammatory way, but also so that you're not having to be a purist. Like I told you, I had a bit of white potato yesterday, I had a bit of chocolate, I had a little drop of Jack Daniels left over from Christmas. I'm not a purist. I don't need to be a purist because I know how to eat as clean as I can for me. And what signals are telling me you've gone off track a little bit? Shall we bring it back in? So it's about learning how to deviate in a way that doesn't get your symptoms and weight back.
Yeah, and when you're really clear about those things cause inflammation, and that's what it's going to do to you, you can have it, but just that's going to happen. But I love that it's a process of support about the emotional and psychological, which is a massive part of weight. And I mean, my dear friend, my lovely friend, who's very, very heavy, I thought well, she went to have the band fitted on her stomach because she was really big. And for a bit, she was all elated. She got on it. She was eating ice cube sized food. And I thought, I just knew she's going to fail at it because at some point, her psychology and her emotions and her patterns of eating, there's no address. And the patterns are just going to come back in, and they did.
Can I put something into perspective? Because what you've just said is so important. Our bodies are designed to eat about 1,500 to 2,000 calories worth of good, solid nutrition. And then they give somebody a bariatric surgery, which means they can now only eat something the size of an ice cube. Where are they going to get their nutrients from? We're talking malnourishment. And it's the same with weight loss injections. What they are promoting is weight loss, dramatic weight loss through malnourishment.
No, so annoys me that injection. A lot of people are getting on it, and on my osteopath the other day, he was going on. He said they did a lot of research, and I'm thinking you can't inject your feelings away. You can't inject your history away, and how you feel about yourself. You can't inject it away.
That's just one side of it. You know, you got the nourishment side, and people are losing their hair, and the mental health. You know, mental health is so much to do with nutrients and the gut microbiome. And it's worrying me how people think that this is a solution because they don't have to eat so much. Now, fasting is one thing, and I do coach fasting. That's our winter season, right? Fasting is good, but only for those of you who are really well nourished. People don't try fasting on my program until week 10. You know, properly nourished, and then the body can go without food for long periods of time. But people who are already undernourished because of the food industry and convenience eating and white potatoes, people who are already undernourished, now removing the vast quantity of their food through weight loss injections or surgery, they're going to get all kinds of problems long term.
I agree. I'm worried. You know, it's the magic pill. But what do you think about so recently I had this tea bag from a fancy hotel I was in, you know, lucky me. And it was an Earl Grey, and I put it on the side. I thought it's just an Earl Grey. I drink Earl Grey all the time, tea. And the other day I had this Earl Grey. Oh my gosh, it was fragrant. It was Earl Grey and bergamot and what am I drinking? I thought I was drinking a fancy label of Twinings. You could barely smell the Earl Grey. I thought, what is this? You know, the quality I'm kind of highlighting here. And the other day, I went to this fantastic farm down in Forest Road, this raw milk, and put it in the fridge, and it all separated on the fat at the top. And I remembered that as a little girl. And I'm 50s, and we always used to have. Dad would have the gold top because he liked the cream on his cornflakes, and we'd all have the silver top. And if we were doing a mum thing, we have the red stripy thing of skim milk. And but the milk fat used to go to the top. And I got this raw milk the other day, and you know what? I put it. I felt guilty because it's like, oh, I can't have rich things. I can't have calorific things. But anyway, I tried it anyway, and it was creamy and delicious. And the yogurt they made from it was like eating cream. But you know what? It felt so good. And that having that Earl Grey thing again, I just thought, where's the quality gone? I've been missing. I didn't even realize I was missing the quality.
They've been playing around with our food for so long. You know, I completely agree.
We're brainwashed.
We are brainwashed into thinking that, you know, oh, we can get this milk cheaper because, you know, but we've got to look at how it's been processed. So we didn't evolve to drink milk, okay? We didn't evolve to drink the milk from another animal. That came with the farming industry. But I do have a little bit of milk. And when I buy milk, I buy organic, non-homogenized Dutchy milk from Waitrose because to me, if I am going to drink milk, it's got to be the best quality of milk that hasn't been tampered with. with all the antibiotics and everything else. I don't know what they do in the milk industry, but I want it as clean as possible. So it is a big factor. So looking at food in its natural state, but if you look at how they treat food, and you look at how the modern world creates food, we're not meant to eat any of that. There are really only 2 or 3 aisles that we need to go up and down in the supermarket. But it does take a number of weeks to get into this mindset that all we actually need to eat to thrive is fruit and veg, herbs and spices included, meat, fish, eggs, and vegetables, nuts and seeds. That's all we're meant to eat. Everything else, unprocessed, non-manufactured foods. But if I said to you, go and eat like that, well, good luck. It's a process of getting back to eating that way with our busy lives and our taste buds. But our taste buds are being manipulated by that food industry as well. So it's about learning to break free from the grips of the food, the dependence on manufactured food, and learning to make it, all my clients are busy people. They're mostly women, 50 plus. They're busy. They got, busy, probably jobs, families. We have so many demands on us. They couldn't do this if it was very, very onerous, having to follow a recipe. I don't do recipes. I just do strategies for getting food on a plate.
Sounds good. It sounds dynamic. Get job done, tummy filled, emotions
done,
fulfilled.
Keep something ready-made in the fridge. Have plenty of tins of fish, eggs ready cooked. I coach a lot of strategies, but those are some of them. But the mindset work is a big part of it.
I see that. Okay, so do we have any more questions? We're going to bring it to a close, but do we have any more questions before we pop off? For now, so I'm going to be sending Sue's free 3-day strategy. What do you call it, Sue? What's your 3-day?
It's my Ageless Vitality series. They're 3 masterclasses, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
Fantastic. And I'll be sending that out with the email, and I'll put it with this replay. So wherever you see this recording, you'll see, if you look at the show notes underneath, you'll find the link to join Sue's masterclasses. And that leads into the 90-day program if you want to take another step towards Sue and her ways. And me too. I've got a workshop that goes into those 4 actions that I explained. And so you can use those too, and all of the above. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. So it wouldn't be an interactive podcast if we didn't have you too. That's very important to have our guests on too, attendees as well as our guest. And Sue, that was amazing. Thank you so much for taking us through, and me too.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. And those of you who joined live, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks, Althea.
It's brilliant. You're so energized. I love you. You're so engaging. Get it done. Chop, chop. Never mind that. Let's get some results. Brilliant. I love it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And do join us on our next step things. We will see you on the next one. Take care and release that weight.
Take
Bye
care.
for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.